So hello everybody, in this video we are going to learn about chapter 1 of class 8 of science, that is crop production and management part 2. In part 1 I have explained several topics. So in this part I would be explaining the leftover topics, the topics which were left over and would not be able to complete in previous video. So let's start with it. First comes manure. Manure Manure is the substance which are added to the soil in form of nutrients for the healthy growth of plants. Manure is an organic substance obtained from the decomposition of plant or animal waste. Farmers dump plants and animal waste in pits at one places and allows it to decompose. The decomposition is caused by some microorganisms. The decomposed matter is used as organic manure. Next comes manuring. Soil supplies mineral nutrients to crop plants. These nutrients are essential for growth of plants. In certain areas, farmers grow crop after crop in the same field. Continuous cultivation of crops makes the soil poor in nutrients. Therefore, farmers have to add manure to the field to replenish the soil with nutrients. This process is called manuring. Improper or insufficient manuring results in weak plants. Next comes fertilizers. Fertilizers are the substances which are added to the soil in form of nutrients for the healthy growth of plants. Fertilizers are chemicals which are rich in a particular nutrient. Fertilizers are produced in factories. Some examples of fertilizer are urea, ammonium sulfate, potash, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Next comes the topic more about fertilizers. So let's learn something more about fertilizers. The use of fertilizers has helped farmers to get better yield of crops such as wheat, paddy and maize. But excessive use of fertilizers have also become a source of water pollution. Therefore, in order to maintain the fertility of the soil, we have to substitute fertilizers with organic manure or leave the field uncultivated, or you can say fallow, in between two crops. Next comes other methods of soil replenishment. We can replenish the soil with nutrients through another method, namely crop rotation. This can be done by growing different crops alternately. Earlier, farmers in North India used to grow legumes as fodder in one season and wheat in the next season. This helped in replenishment of the soil with nitrogen. Rhizobium bacteria present in root nodules of leguminous plants which are helping in fixing atmospheric nitrogen. Next comes advantages of manure. Manure helps in enhancing the water holding capacity of the soil, water retaining capacity of the soil. It makes the soil porous, due to which exchange of gases becomes easy. It increases the number of friendly microbes. It improves the texture of the soil. Next comes difference between fertilizers and manure. Fertilizer is a man-made inorganic salt. Fertilizer is prepared in factories. Fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil. Fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Whereas manure is a natural substance obtained by decomposition of cattle dung and plant residues. Manure can be prepared in the fields. Manure provide a lots of humus to the soil. Manure is relatively less rich in plant nutrient as comparatively to the fertilizers. Next comes role of water in agriculture. What role does water play in agriculture? All living beings need water to live. Water is important for proper growth and development. Water is absorbed by plant roots. Plant contains nearly 90% water. Water is essential because germination of seed does not take place under dry conditions. So water is necessary. Nutrients dissolved in water are transported to each part of the plant. Water also protects the crop from both frost and hot air currents. Next comes irrigation. What is irrigation? To maintain the moisture of the soil for healthy crop growth, fields have to be watered regularly. The supply of water to crops at regular intervals is only called irrigation. The time and frequency of irrigation varies from crop to crop, soil to soil, and season to season. The sources of water for irrigation are well it is written wells, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams, and canals. Next, the topic comes traditional methods of irrigation. The water available in wells, lakes, and canals is lifted up by different methods in different regions for taking it to the fields. Cattle or human labor is used in these methods. So these methods are cheaper but less efficient. The various traditional ways are moat, or you can say pulley system, chain pump, dhekli, rahat, or you can say lever system. Next comes modern methods of irrigation. Modern methods of irrigation help us to use water economically. The main methods used as modernly are as follows. First comes drip system. In this system, the water falls drop by drop directly near the roots, so it is called a drip system. It is the best technique for watering fruit plants, gardens, and trees. Water is not wasted at all. It is a boon. It is a boon in regions where availability of water is poor. Next comes sprinkler system. Sprinkler system is another modern methods of irrigation. This system is more useful on uneven land where sufficient water is not available. The perpendicular pipes having rotating nozzles on top are joined to the main pipeline at regular intervals. When water is allowed to flow through the main pipe under pressure with the help of a pump, it escapes from rotating nozzles. It gets sprinkled on the crop as if it is raining. Sprinkler is very useful for lawns, coffee plantations, and several other crops. The next topic is protection from weeds. In a field, many other undesirable plants may grow naturally along with the crop. These undesirable plants are called weeds. The removal of weed is called weeding. Weeding is necessary. Weeding is essential since weeds compete with the crop plants for water, nutrient, space, and light. Thus, they affect the growth of the crops. Some weeds interfere even in harvesting and may be poisonous for animals and human beings. So, protection of weeds from weeds is necessary. So we are continuing next the protection from weeds one more. Let's learn something more about it. The best time for removal of weed is before they produce flowers and seeds. The manual removal includes physical removal of weeds by uprooting or cutting them close to the ground from time to time. This is done with the help of a khurpi. A seed drill is also used to uproot weeds. Weeds are controlled by using certain chemicals called weedicides. Example 2,4-D. These are sprayed in the fields to kill the weeds. They do not damage the crops. Next comes harvesting. The cutting of crop after it is mature is called harvesting. In harvesting, crops are pulled out or cut close to the ground. Harvesting in India is usually done by a sickle or by a machine called harvester. In the harvested crop, the grain need to be separated from the chaff. This process is called threshing. This is carried out with the help of a modern equipment called combine, which is in fact a harvester as well as a thresher because it does the job of both. Farmers with small holdings of land do the separation of grains and chaff by the process called winnowing. Next comes storage. If the harvested grains are to be kept for longer time, insects, rats, moisture, and microorganisms may affect it. If freshly harvested grain seeds are stored without drying, they may get spoiled or attacked by organisms, making them unfit for use or for germination. Hence, before storing them, the grains are properly dried in the sun to reduce the moisture in them. This prevents the attack by insects, pests, bacteria, and fungi. Next comes storage and animal husbandry. Farmers store grains in jute bags or metallic bins. However, large scale storage of grains is done in silos and granaries to protect them from pests like rats and insects. Dried neem leaves are used for storing food grains at home. for storing large quantities of grains in big godowns. Specific chemical treatments are required to protect them from pests and microorganisms. Animal husbandry is the branch of science that deals with the practice of breeding, farming, and care of farm animals such as cattle, etc., by humans for advantages. It is a branch of agriculture. So, we have completed this topic also. Next comes the revision question. So, let's do something revision. First revision question is fill in the blanks. I would be discussing the answer right now. Dash bacteria helps to fix atmospheric nitrogen. Here the answer would be Rhizobium bacteria. Rhizobium bacteria helps to fix atmospheric nitrogen. The supply of water to the crops at regular intervals is called. The supply of water to crops at regular intervals is called irrigation. The removal of weeds is called weeding. A dash is used for both harvesting and threshing. A dash here will fill modern equipment, that is combine. Dried dash leaves are used for storing food grains at home. Here the answer would be neem leaves. Next comes state true or false. Pulley system is the modern method of irrigation. It is false. Pulley system is a traditional method of irrigation. Fertilizers enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. It is also false. Manure enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. 4D is example of a weedicide. It is true. Large scale storage of grains is done in silos and grain. This is true. Moat system is also known as lever system. This is false. Moat system is also known as pulley system.